For our last segment in our show today, we turn to our mailbag, and Dirt Bike Rider wants to know if the success of the football and basketball teams this year, they've been very successful this season, either ranked or very close to being ranked. What does that bode for the future of both of these teams?
Well, I'll take football first. I know BYU feels like they've got a lot of good players in place to replace the guys that left, but I don't know how you replace a guy like John Beck, a guy like Curtis Brown, a guy like Cameron Jensen, not necessarily just for their ability, but for their leadership and what they accomplished this year, breaking all of those boundaries that they couldn't quite get over in the first 2 or 3 years that they were at the school. I think if BYU were to go 11-2 again, it would be a miracle. Considering that they have to open at home against Arizona, who's going to be better than last year, UCLA, who's going to be a top 10 maybe team, they have to go on the road to face them in the second game. TCU is going to be a monster defensively. They got all their guys coming back. I feel like this BYU team could be pretty good and probably will go to a bowl game. But passing 11-2 and the kind of euphoria that they felt in winning the conference championship, beating Utah, and winning the bowl game, I don't know if that's possible.
You look at football, I agree with Darnell on that. Basketball-wise, you have to think they're going to be pretty good. If you have Trent Plaisted and Lee Camard coming back, that's quite the core for a team. They've got some nice young recruits coming in, it looks like. And then you see that, I think the one common denominator between the programs is in the last 3 or 4 years, the senior class has seen everything. They've gone through all the lows and the highs. Basketball obviously still has to see if they can get through the tournament and get some things done there. But they've had good core leadership that's taught the younger guys how to do some things, and that bodes well for the future.
Well, both of these teams had very good seasons, and we want to thank Dirt Bike Rider on CougarBlue.com for the question. Very good question, and of course, it'll all be, Cougar fans want it to be like it was in the past, where every year they were outstanding. Don't know if it'll be like that, but they've got some good pieces in place.
And that's why they make the DVDs, so you can watch them all fall, all spring and all summer, because eventually they got to start playing again. But BYU fans are gonna suck the life out of this euphoria they felt after all those wins for football. If they have a great basketball season and a finish in the NCAA tournament, boy, that just goes a long way into helping people feel better about themselves up until the season starts, and then you got to start playing again.
Well, that's all we have time for today. We'd like to thank you for joining us on Game On, the show that discusses BYU athletics and everything else that's going on in the sports world. We, of course, would like to thank our guests, Darnell Dickson, sports editor and BYU football beat writer from the Daily Herald, and Jason Franchuk, BYU basketball beat writer and columnist for the Daily Herald as well. Join us again next week as we talk about all the sports issues and talk about the Cougars.